Hey, Facebook fam. I'm stuck in traffic right now. So, I'm going to take the time to verbalize some things I've been saying on Facebook about the Michael Brown case and police brutality and a lot of other things. Even filming the police. Whenever you're in a traffic stop, or you're walking down the street and the police approach you, you have a couple choices. One choice is to stand there and listen to what they had to say, or another choice is to leave. Now, in order for you to be able to legally leave, what you must ask is, am I being detained or am I free to go? This indicates to the police officer that their contact with you is non-voluntary. So, if they don't suspect you of a crime, they have to let you go. The next thing is, if they pull you over and you have passengers in your car, and when they walk up to your car and they ask for your ID and your registration and your insurance, and they ask all your passengers for their ID at the same time, then guess what? Everybody in the car has to give them an ID if they have one. If they don't have one, all they have to do is identify themselves and tell them their name and birthday. That's all they're required to do it in the law. But if they have an ID on them, they have to give the police their ID. Now, if the police come back to the car and ask them for their ID after already getting your ID, then at that point, the Supreme Court of the United States says your passengers has no obligation to identify themselves. Why? Because you committed the crime that they're investigating, not your passengers. Now, the next thing, you should record every encounter with the police. I don't care if you're a witness or anything. Anytime you talk to a police officer, you should record what happened. Because a police officer handles so many cases a day and is involved in so much a day, he can mistake you for a criminal even though you're a witness. He can blame something on you simply by accident. And he's not going to back down off of it. But if you have a recording of that encounter, you could show to the court or to a supervisor that, no, you was a witness and this is what you told him and this is what he told you. But without that recording, it's your word against his and they're going to always side with him. They're not there to help you. When the police show up at your house unannounced, they're not there to help you. They're there to find something on you. Secondly, the police is not obligated to tell you the truth about anything. They are actually trained to lie to you to get you to incriminate yourself. So if the police officer asks you for your ID while you're walking down the street and you say, am I free to go? Am I detained or if I'm free to go? He said, yes, I'm detaining you because I'm investigating you for a suspicion of robbery at this convenience store on X block at X time. Well, guess what? At that point, you tell them, I choose express my Fourth Amendment right, my Fifth Amendment right, my Sixth Amendment right. The Fourth Amendment prevents the police officer from searching you. He may pat you down. Patting you down and searching you is two different things. He may pat you down. And a pat down is to pat down to your surface. He can't go in your pockets or anything, he can pat you down. That pat down is to protect the officer. That is completely legal, and it is not a violation of the Fourth Amendment. The next thing, if you're carrying something, he's going to ask you to look in it. You tell him not without a search warrant. He's going to ask you why you're being uncooperative. You're not. You're just telling him, hey, look, I don't want to be searched. Next thing he's going to do, he's going to start asking you questions. Even if he asks you to verify your birthday, don't say a thing. Because you told him, by expressing your Fifth Amendment and Sixth Amendment rights, that you don't want to talk to him without an attorney. That you choose. But that doesn't prevent him from asking you questions. You just don't answer. Now let's go over to the Michael Brown case. Everybody's saying that everybody should give up on the Michael Brown case because the DOJ exonerated Darren Wilson. Well, guess what? They was going to always exonerate him. In every case of a police shooting an unarmed person, they have always exonerated the police officer, even when they caught the police officer in lies. For example, right there in St. Louis, Missouri, there was a case where 2 men were shot in their car by 3 police officers at the Jack in the Box. It's called the Jack in the Box shooting. What happened was it was a DEA agent and 2 police officers. The DEA agent recognized one of the guys as a former drug dealer that had gotten off because they had no warrant to search him the first time. But the guy hadn't sold drugs in a couple years. You know, he had gotten a regular job, you know, and everything like that. He was actually working with the other fella. The other fella had an arrest, not a conviction, of assault. The charge was later dropped when they found out the victim in that case was lying. So the DEA agent enlisted the other 2 officers to help him do a stop on the car because the DEA agent wanted to search the car. Well, they waited for them to come out of the Jack in the Box. They came out of the Jack in the Box, got in the car, and began to back out. At this point, the 3 officers surrounded the car. The guy that was driving the car was a former drug dealer. He put the car in park. No, that's not what happened because I watched the video. They claim he put the car in park, but he didn't. He just stopped and had his foot on the brake. Witnesses said that both men in the car had their hands up because the police officers already had their guns drawn. They walked up to the car with their guns drawn and pointed at the 2 men in the car. For what reason? We do not know. We have not, nobody has given any information to indicate the reason why they was pointing their guns at people in that manner. So, what happens next is that witnesses say, and the police officers also confirm, that all 3 officers gave different commands at the same time, causing the 2 individuals in the car to be confused about what to do. One officer told the driver to get out. The other officers, another officer told the passenger to get out. And another officer told both of them, do not move. Don't you move. Don't you move, or I'm going to shoot. Don't you move, or I'm going to shoot. So the guys was confused, so they were talking to each other